Hey guys, it's Serge here. Today I want to have a look at some of the international markets because as you know, the US stock market so far this year has actually been very lackluster, both in terms of absolute terms, comparing it to the previous few years where the US stock markets were the beast on the block, and also in relative terms versus international markets, particularly Europe and parts of Asia. So one market I really like at the moment is the UK stock market, so the FTSE 100, which in the United States we can trade through a dollar-denominated ETF called the EWU. Before we look at this chart, though, let me quickly show you the chart of the actual FTSE 100, which is important because we do want to take our main analysis from the main underlying asset most of the time. So that applies here as well. So look at the FTSE 100. This is a weekly chart, like weekly bars going back all the way. The top here is back all the way in 1999. And what you see is, I mean, just about anyone can see this. We have very, very big major line of resistance that goes back all the way to 1999. If we zoom in a little bit more on this chart, what you'll see is that the FTSE has been consolidating or coiling up below this line of resistance more or less, again, in the very big picture over the past couple of years, 2.5 years, and is now so far this year finally breaking higher marginally. However, again, if we take the context of the larger chart, you'll see that if this breakout is supposed to be successful, it should have a lot more upside through, let's say, a 3, 6, 9 month, maybe a 12-month lens. So let's keep that picture in mind. Keep also in mind that they're supposed to have elections in the UK in a couple of weeks from now, in the early to mid part of May. Looking at the EWU, which is the ETF here we can trade in the United States through the ETF, the dollar-denominated ETF, I should say, and you can see doesn't look much similar at all to what the FTSE looks like, and that's of course because of the interest rate differential, among some other things. But basically, what I'm seeing here in more near term is a stock that, through a purely technical lens, or an ETF, I should say, has actually acted well in itself. So we see basically an inverse head and shoulders pattern. If you kind of, imagine this being the head here with the left shoulder and right shoulder, the 200-day moving average comes in really nicely right here, and we have a setup here that we're once the EWU can get above the 200-day moving average and pass this diagonal resistance line, or the neckline of the formation, I would say that would happen somewhere near 1910, 1915 or so, roughly speaking, on a daily closing basis. Then this here would be quite a nice trade and could certainly move quite a bit higher, maybe towards 2050 or so, through a multi-month lens. So this is just one way of looking at the market, because we now do have a global market we can all take advantage of. We just have to be aware of what's happening where and not get just stuck in purely US stock markets, because we do have a global world to trade in. While the US stock market is terrific and it's got a lot of opportunities, we've now been in the bigger picture, really been in a multi-month rut that has been quite frustrating for those folks that trade markets in a directional way. So keep your eye out for global opportunities here in the FTSE 100 via the EWU. Please like this video. If you got any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is SteadyTrader, or go to thesteadytrader.com and see what we're doing over there. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.